Hey everyone, we are live. Getting started just a few minutes late, but we are here now. Today we're going to talk about how to start a newsletter. Isn't that exciting, Victor?
Sorry, you'll have to vamp on your own right now. I'm doing a couple of things.
Okay, you might want to mute your mic with all the clickety clack. Or not. That's okay too. Wow, we do have a bunch of people watching already. Welcome. Maybe we should start late forever from now on. It's just about springtime, so I picked this really fun spring-themed countdown timer. It's a little early in the year for cherry blossoms, but there's a tree right around the corner from me that's already shedding its bloomed cherry blossoms. I guess that's climate change for you. Everybody who's here right now, we already have something planned out, but like, what are you hoping to learn from this? Do you have any questions like right off the bat that we can keep in mind? No questions? That's cool. I guess you'll probably form them like as we go on. That's what I usually do. Oh, okay. Okay, we have a comment. Oh, welcome back, Helen Creates. I know I always mess up your name. I'm going to call you Helen this week unless you correct me otherwise. And you said there are rules and regulations about an email list, which I don't understand all of, so I haven't started one. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll touch on that. Can you specify like what rules and regulations that you're thinking of?
Okay, I can talk now.
Amazing. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're back. I hope you're having an excellent day.
I'm having a pretty good day.
That's good.
I mean, I got a lot to do, of course, as always, but I'm having a pretty good day. And I think that this is going to be a good example just for people to see, how this works. What happens when you do?
Okay, Helen followed up and said, it has been a while since I looked, but GDPR and unsubscribe in my own server versus something like MailChimp. Oh, okay, yeah. Is that what you're talking about with like the rules and regulations? You said like, and figuring out what to say, smiley face. Oh, okay, so yeah, I think you're talking about like the rules and regulations about allowing people to unsubscribe. Is that right? Is that basically what you're asking about? And in addition, deciding whether to use your own server versus something like MailChimp. That's what I'm getting out of what I'm reading. So, do I have these questions right? Jay Trada asks, best affordable platforms? Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we actually have a very specific thing about the most affordable platforms, but I'm not gonna leave you in suspense. It's Beehive, Beehiiv, and I'll be talking about Beehive today.
Spoilers.
All right. It looks like I will be able to do a slideshow properly,
What's that supposed to mean?
meaning that I wasn't sure that I could do it properly. I want to get some water and then I'm ready to go, so I'll be right back.
All right. Helen says, close enough. Everything has probably changed since I looked a couple of years ago. It's probably true that some things have changed. I don't know about everything. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think Victor will know more about this. Jay Trinidad says, great, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, we are so close. So close to starting.
Excuse me. I have a very bad cat.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. A cat who tests me. He tries and he tries and he tries. He tests me so much.
Let me guess. Dizzy?
Yes.
Yep. I too have a couple of troublemaker cats. They each have their own style, but then sometimes they work together in chaos. "20 seconds." 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Goodness gracious. All right, everybody. How's it going? We are about to do this episode of our webinar, which is all about how to, the easiest way to start a newsletter. Okay, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to get started. If people are watching live and you have questions, just ask those questions as we're moving along. I'm about to share a slideshow and talk through it. There's not a lot of demonstration today, but it is a lot of good information, I think. Let's start from the beginning. You know what? My cat just jumped on the printer. I need to shoo him away. Just 1 second, everybody. I'll be right back.
One time, his cats broke his old printer, unless it's the same printer and he's since fixed it. I don't know.
All right. All right. The inmates are handled.
Yes, and you mentioned if people have questions. We already have a few questions, so that we've already shouted out. So let's make sure we hit those up.
What are the questions?
Well, okay, so
bring them up on screen.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I brought these up before, but Helen says there are rules and regulations about an email list, which I don't understand all of, so I haven't started one. And then she said, it has been a while since I looked, but GDPR and unsubscribe and my own server versus something like MailChimp and figuring out what to say. And then I surmised what she was talking about. And she was like, close enough. Everything has probably changed since I looked a couple of years ago. So basically, she's wanting to know two different things here. Like one, she wants to know.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I got it. So I was listening to you while you were talking.
Okay, I was also summarizing for the audience. And then Steve finally says, hey, legends, good to see you too. Hey, Steve, good to see
you. Here's your answer. GDPR compliant is a level of security that you're supposed to give to anybody who's on your email list. That means that when people are on your email list, they have to have said they want to be on your email list. You can't just add people who do not want to be on your email list and start emailing them. They have to opt in one way or another. And then also, you can't just sell stuff. You can't sell people's emails willy-nilly without telling them that you're going to sell their emails. So you just don't do that. Okay. In most newsletters, that's the way they're set up. In fact, I bet that it would be a problem. It would be well, I mean, I guess if you put it in your terms and conditions, but in general, it's expected that if people join on your email list, you only use their emails for that email list, unless they specifically opt in to be emailed something else. Also, about unsubscribe, a lot of I don't know exactly which countries have this rule, but I know the United States is one of them. If people are not able to unsubscribe to your email list, then you can get in legal trouble. So you need to make sure that people have the ability to unsubscribe. And best practice is in every email you send, you put a link that automatically unsubscribes people, or you tell them how to unsubscribe in every email. Anyway, that's it. Okay, so are there any other questions before we get started?
I have a question that just came up, but oh yeah, can you speak to when people report the email they got as spam? And Helen says, thanks. You're welcome.
No problem. What do you mean when people we speak to it? What do you mean? Are you asking a question or?
Yeah. I know that there are consequences when that can hurt your newsletter performance if somebody doesn't like the email they got and they report it to Google, say Gmail as spam. What happens in that case?
Every domain, this is actually not what I was going to cover today, but this is more technical, but every domain has a reputation. And so the higher your reputation, the more your emails do not go to spam. And the more people report your emails or the more your emails act like spam, then your reputation goes down and then it's filtered to spam more often.
So how do you avoid that happening? How do you get people to not do that?
You don't write spammy emails.
True.
Okay. Ready? Here we go. Okay. So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover some pretty simple stuff, but this is straight up what we're going to cover one at a time. Choosing a newsletter topic, that's actually going to be really short because you can really have anything, but we'll just talk about choosing it. And then where to host your newsletter. how to monetize early, and then real examples of fast success. And then we'll talk about marketing, growth, and growth strategies. All right. So here we go. Choosing a newsletter topic. Now, a lot of people will tell you that the best way to choose a newsletter topic is to choose a very, very narrow niche. Yes, you can do that. You can do that. But I also think that you can choose broader niches for newsletters. It just depends on the newsletter. I guess it's really about, I think, marketing. It's just like, how do you sell your newsletter? You can market it so it sounds like it's to a narrow niche, even though it can be to a broader range of people. But the idea is that if you are a very narrow niche, then that is where you could have the most success as a newsletter. The newsletters that I have, Magic Book of Fire and Summary of the Internet. Magic Book of Fire is a very narrow niche because it's all around an app that I made called Magic Book of Fire. And so everybody on that email list is interested in self-publishing. So the newsletter just talks about self-publishing and also the app Magic Book of Fire. Then I guess the last thing is that if you can write consistently about that niche, that's a really good thing. I would say choose something that you know, but you can also research things that you don't know. It depends. If you're like, if I wanted to write a newsletter about a subject that I wasn't aware of, I definitely have enough experience to like research that and write something that is meaningful. So I think that, you know, people out there can too. Maybe that's something we could talk about a different day. But really, like if you choose something you know and that you like, it's going to be even easier. So in fact, let me talk about Magic Book of Fire and Summary of the Internet. Magic Book of Fire was something that I was creating for myself. I'm very interested in self-publishing, and so naturally, it's easy for me to do a newsletter. In fact, on my self-publishing journey, I often like do updates on the Magic Book of Fire newsletter about like what I'm doing with my own self-publishing journey. All right, so best hosting platform. Okay, I'm going to say it's Beehive. Now, I'll give you a couple of reasons, but let me tell you first that I was on MailChimp, and I did research a lot of other places before I moved from MailChimp to Beehive. And this is the reason why I think Beehive is the best. Beehive is the best. It's really easy to sign up. They just make it as easy as possible for you to have and grow a newsletter. There's so many built-in tools within the newsletter so that you can just do whatever you need to do. You can have a subscription. You can have a newsletter where the people who are on your free subscription see half the newsletter, and then the bottom half is only seen by people who are paying. They have a built-in advertising network. So like you sign up for Beehive, and then you'll start getting ad offers even when you're a very small newsletter. And then also, I forget exactly what the number is. You can look it up if you would, Rachel. But on the free plan, they actually let you go to a large number of subscribers, to a number of subscribers that you would be paying for on the regular plans at MailChimp. Do you know what the number is?
Yeah. So for Beehive, on the free plan, you can have up to 2,500 subscribers.
There you go. Okay, so good. So you could have a newsletter with up to 2,500 subscribers. I'm going to just give you like the very, very like hard numbers and simple numbers for monetizing a newsletter.
Yes, but before you do that, do know that the free plan does not include the ad network, the boost network, or paid subscriptions.
I didn't know that. Okay, well then you have less tools, but you have less tools. But I will say this: newsletters of any kind, not necessarily on Beehive, the industry standard is that you could make about $1 per subscriber per month. So that if you have 2,500 subscribers, industry standard without the tools from Beehive is that you would make about $2,500 a month if you're utilizing monetizing your newsletter correctly. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Beehive is the best place to host your newsletter. The guys who started Beehive, apparently they used to be the growth people. I don't know what their actual their actual I guess title was, but they were in charge of figuring out how to make the newsletter grow. And that was Morning Brew, and it was like one of the biggest newsletters ever, millions and millions of people on that newsletter. And then it was so big and they made so much money, in fact millions per month, that they built their own internal tools to help them grow their newsletter. And those internal tools are what became the tools that they now let everyone else use on Beehive. So like if you can put it like this, you can benefit from people who have been spending tons and tons of money, millions of dollars on developing tools just for newsletters to grow. Now you can benefit from all of their research by just using Beehive. They have tons of tutorials. It's pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the next. All right, so let me talk about Magic Book of Fire. Okay, so let me talk about Magic Book of Fire. So Magic Book of Fire, it is now a newsletter as part of the app Magic Book of Fire. But when I originally started Magic Book of Fire, I was not treating it like a newsletter. I only started treating it like a newsletter when I started reading about how people were monetizing newsletters, and then so I eventually moved over to Beehive because I felt like it might be the best place to try to start the newsletter, even though previously I had started with MailChimp, which I didn't like as much. Clunky.
I agree.
It's clunky. All right, so then I moved to Beehive, and when I moved to Beehive, I had around 9,000 people signed up on my Magic Book of Fire newsletter. And in the first month, I made around 4,000. No, wait. No, we made almost 7,000.
Something like that.
It was between $4,000 and $7,000 in the first month on Beehive. And that was due specifically just to the Beehive network. Unfortunately, those days are sort of gone. You can still make money on Beehive. You still get offers of ads almost every day, like many times a week. But it's just that when we came to Beehive first, it was like really in the beginning of Beehive. It was really in the beginning of Beehive where there were not a lot of people using Beehive, so their ad network was not clogged up in any way. And on top of that, there was a advertiser who kept advertising on Magic Book of Fire's email list called Ghostwriters Academy. So it was all about teaching people how to monetize their writing. Okay. And so as you can imagine, our particular email list was like really responsive to that. And then on Beehive, you get paid when people just click on the ad. They don't have to do anything else, just click. So this particular newsletter, because they were really loving our audience, they were like paying us like several dollars, like I think like $2-3 sometimes every time someone just clicked on the ad. So we were able to make like a bunch of money at the very beginning. But it's not exactly that easy with the Beehive ad network now, but it is still like possible. One of the things that also works for Magic Book of Fire is now I have Magic Book of Fire, the app, and I have Magic Book of Fire's newsletter, which is also all about Magic Book of Fire and about self-publishing. But then on that newsletter, now another way that we monetize, which is we'll talk about different ways that you monetize, but we have products that our audience would enjoy. We have products that our audience would enjoy. We have special offers. I kind of like trade sometimes with other people, and I'm just like, hey, do you have something that I can give like my audience just like for fun? And like recently, one of my friends, like he created an app and he's like, yeah, give them all like a free month of this app if they want it. And so like stuff like that. So the idea is to keep your newsletter valuable to the people who are on the newsletter. Because if you're on the Magic Book of Fire newsletter, then you know that I'll try to like, you'll get special deals, you'll get tutorials about self-publishing, you'll get updates about Magic Book of Fire. and you'll get like specialized products that are made just for you. And so the idea is to just keep it interesting for those people. All right, so oh, you know what? I already kind of covered a lot of this, why it works so well on Beehive. Sometimes I just kind of get ahead of myself. But you get it. It was special circumstances at the beginning, but now even though, even like today, even I got offers on 2 of my newsletters. Actually, no, 3 of my newsletters because we have something attached to something else. Something else. So on 3 of my newsletters, we got offers for ads even just today.
Yeah. One even just came in like less than a minute ago.
All right.
Yeah.
The cats are outside my office meowing because they want to get back in and jump on
Aw.
stuff. So I'm sorry, guys, not right now. All right. Okay. So yeah. So let's talk about small lists. Now, I guess if you don't pay the monthly fee, what's the lowest monthly fee though that you get the ad network from Beehive?
The lowest one is called Scale. You got a 30-day free trial, and it is $43 per month, which that has deterred me, but I will probably come back to it.
It's $43 per month for how many subscribers?
1,000. So
okay.
So on launch you get 2,500, but on Scale you only get 1,000, unless that's 1,000 additional. But it says up to 1,000 subscribers. So.
Okay. Are you sure you're reading that correctly? Can you adjust the number of subscribers and the number goes up?
Adjust, and then which number goes up?
Meaning, is there a field where you can adjust the number of subscribers on the website so the numbers can go up? Show me what you're looking at.
Okay.
Here, I'm just gonna. I'll just stop sharing my screen. And you share your screen. Here we go. All right, we'll get back to this in just 1 second, everybody. I would just want to give everybody correct information.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because it says one thing at the top and then another thing below it.
Here, I'm gonna. Hold on a second.
What are you trying to do?
Hold on.
How can I help you?
Yeah, everything I'd launch up to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, that is written.
Well, but it gets
wait. Everything on Scale up to 1,000 subscribers.
But
is it? Go ahead.
It gets weirder when you scroll down and look at the feature comparison, because then this says subscriber limit 100,000, and then at launch it says 2,500, and that's different than what it says up here.
I think it's a typo. They have a typo on there. They have, because it should be more when you should get more subscribers when you're paying. So I think that's a typo. The 1,000, it should probably be 100,000, or it's some, because it says up to. Sorry, it says up to 1,000 both at Scale and Max on the above in the pink. So I think it's definitely a typo, because like that's pretty weird. I would trust the numbers below that said the other number. Okay, let's get back to this. Bring in my slide show back up, everybody. Here it comes. Boing. Whoops. And there it is.
You tried.
Yes. Okay. All right. So.
Oh, wait. Somebody says you can adjust the number on the top.
Ah.
Oh, yep. You're right. Yeah. And there's even a monthly button. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, you can pick the amount of subscribers, and that does change the price. And you can also pick monthly versus annual. Yep, that is correct, Joe Hernandez. You are so correct. Thank you.
Got it. But look at it this way: even if it's $50 and you have 1,000, if you have 1,000 people and you have access to their ad network, if you are monetizing your newsletter correctly, then you could be making $1,000 a month. I'm sure of it. Okay, so then if I learned a lot when I've been working with Magic Book of Fire, and so if I could start over with Magic Bookify, I would have run the entire thing differently. I would have run the app, and I would have launched the app and the newsletter together as what I call like a hybrid newsletter. And a hybrid newsletter is like a business. I would say it's like it is like a business model that a lot of people do, but I don't think there's a name for it out there. So I've been calling it a hybrid newsletter. And what that is really anything that you do can be turned into a newsletter. So anything that you do can be turned into a newsletter on top of it. You can be an actor and have a newsletter as well. And so you as an actor plus your newsletter as a business is a hybrid newsletter. Magic Bookifier is an app plus the email list for Magic Bookifier as a newsletter is a hybrid business as a total, where the app makes money, but the newsletter also makes money, and the newsletter helps the app and the app helps the newsletter, and vice versa. Anything you can think of, if you're a realtor, just anything you can think of can do that, where it can up the amount of revenue that that you can make, and also build your authority, blah 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 blah, all the good stuff about having a newsletter. So I would have started with the hybrid newsletter idea, and I would have focused on monetization really, really early. And then I would have planned to grow from day one. So luckily, I did get a chance with Summary of the Internet, which just started a couple of weeks ago. I'm actually going to show you some stuff about Summary of the Internet. I'm going to show you just like how it's been growing and how it's been growing weekly, and just kind of like how it's going. And let me talk about it really quick, and then I'll show you how it's going. So Summary of the Internet actually was something that I created, an app that I created because I personally need help with social media. I know that I have to do social media. I hate doing social media. I love making cool things. So I wanted to make something that helped me decide what I could post about. And then when I ended up making a tool for myself, I was like, I think other people would enjoy this tool. And then so I launched it as an app, which is called Summary of the Internet. But when I launched it as an app, I already knew about the idea of what a hybrid newsletter was. So I was like, can I make a newsletter from this as I launch it? And the answer was yes. And here's the thing. I had the idea generally for summary of the Internet as like a website or newsletter on its own. But then when I made the app, then I was like, oh, I can bring those ideas together and then do this hybrid newsletter. All right. So where was I right before I did that tangent?
I don't know.
All right then. She's not listening.
I am listening. I don't know where you were.
It's fine. I think what I was talking about was I launched it with growth in mind, and I monetized early. So here's how I monetized early. So with Summary of the Internet, it is an app that has AI assisted suggestions for people about what to post. Every day I have a system. It downloads trends from platforms, and then it pours those trends into the data for Summary of the Internet. Then also I have a system which researches, which does deep research on what is trending for that day and what people are talking about. And then all of that information is put together in Summary of the Internet. And then people who have a pro membership, they can then put in their brands, and it will give the suggestions specifically for their brands. Then the idea about the newsletter is like every day people get in their inbox just like a list of kind of like what's trending, some also usually a cartoon or meme that I make. Today's meme I think is super funny. If you want to see it, look up Summary of the Internet on Beehive, you'll see it. I actually need to put a link for the blog on the Summary of the Internet. So the newsletter is its own business. The app is its own business, but they are obviously merged. and they support each other. So when I launched the app and was able to sell subscriptions to the app, that helped launch the newsletter. Also, the app itself is a lead magnet for the newsletter. And Summary of the Internet actually just got offered its first ads, I think like yesterday. And then also is getting offered ads today too. So Summary of the Internet, it doesn't actually have that many people on the newsletter, but with only like 600 or so people on the newsletter so far, because that's how many people have signed up for the app, we've already made thousands of dollars because people have, paid for subscriptions on the app. And let me show you real quick. I'm going to share a different screen. Oops. Oh, you guys get to see behind the curtain. Hold on.
And can you remind me, how did you get 600 subscribers?
Hold on one second, and I'm almost back. Okay. So I got 600 subscribers in 3 different ways. One, I sent an offer out to people who were part of Magic Book of Fire. We sent them a discounted offer. 2, I entered competitions with the app, and so I circulated the app on the internet and entered competitions. 3, I spent money on Google Ads. I spent $5 a day on Google Ads, and actually, we're going to talk about this in growth. Actually, this is coming up. So,
okay.
But really quickly, I just want people to see really quickly how it's going. This is going to be nothing more than me just showing you exactly what's happening with it, and then going on to other stuff.
How it started and where we're at. That's a meme.
Got it. Okay, so then yeah, we've only been on Beehive here for just a couple of weeks. This is the last 4 weeks, but as you can see, right here is where I dumped everyone who had signed up through the app into Beehive for the very first time. And then from then on, they've been added automatically when people sign up. And so you can see just like there's been steady growth, since it's even started from how I've been working on it. And it hasn't been super hard. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it in the next section. So let me get back to this other thing. Bring that slideshow back up. Boom. Here we go.
Slideshow Bob.
Exactly. Now we can talk about everybody's favorite thing, marketing and growth tips. Boo.
My favorite.
Boo. But let's do it anyway, huh? A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, and I will try to be that sugar. Creepy. All right.
Yeah. Terrible.
What?
I said terrible. This is live TV.
This is not
international
live TV.
Broadcast.
Yeah, this is an international broadcast with like what, 3 people, maybe 2?
13
people. This is crazy. This is mayhem. This is anarchy. This is
good for us.
Sparta. Okay, let's go back to it, everybody. Okay, marketing and growth tips. Okay, I did run targeted ads. There's lots of different ways to run ads. I can tell you what I find most effective, especially for this newsletter. What I do is I run ads to what's called an invisible sales letter. So an invisible sales letter is something that is an example of an invisible sales letter is you write an article about something that people want that is made much easier by the product that you're selling. That's what an invisible sales letter is. Here's an invisible sales letter for Summary of the Internet, which is a social media coach app that helps people decide what to post about. So the invisible sales letter is about trend jacking. I don't know if everybody knows what trend jacking is, but trend jacking is a way people grow their social media, I guess. What is the word I'm looking for? Reach. They grow their social media reach by trend jacking. And so what they do is they will follow trends. For instance, like right now, Marvel just released information about the new movie Avengers Avengers Doomsday. So if you were to post about Avengers Doomsday today, you would probably like get extra, eyes on whatever you're posting about. So if it's appropriate for your brand to post about Avengers Doomsday today, then you would do that. Okay, so that's an example of trend jacking, riding the trend. And so I wrote an article about how to trend jack. And then at the end of the article, it says, by the way, if you're trying to follow trends to trend jack, you should check out summaryoftheinternet.com, summaryoftheinternet.com. You can use it for free. And then I run ads. So people who are searching on Google for how does trend jacking work, I run ads to those people through Google search intent ads. That's what they're called. I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on that today. But those people go to that invisible sales letter page and they read about what they wanted to read about, which is trend jacking. And at the end of it, when they're like, oh, that's how I can do it. Ooh, I'm ready to get started. At the end, I say, hey, by the way, here's a piece of candy. All right. That's how marketing works.
2 creepies in 60 seconds.
So then of course they go, and whether they are free users or paid users, it's valuable to me as a newsletter, because then even if they're free users, they they still get the newsletter, which they want, which is a newsletter coming in every day telling them what's trending, because that's what they're interested in. So they're happy to sign up and they're happy to get the newsletter. It's fine. Like if you saw, like we have a very good open rate. Like we have like, I think between a 35 and 39% open rate normally. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what it was when I was showing it a second ago?
I don't remember, but it was something like that, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good opening rate because people want to get the newsletter, which means that it is easier for us to monetize it because people are always opening it because we give them information, what they want to talk about. All right. And then also posting. I guess we went over this a little bit earlier, but I spent time posting in forums. I'll post on forums about like where people are talking about social media. Sometimes people are actually just asking, hey, where can I find somewhere where they aggregate the what's trending on platforms? And in those, I can just like roll into that conversation and just be like, hey, I made this thing. You can check it out for free. And in that, just having that in my back pocket, always doing something like that really, really works. I also use my personal skills, which is I can make fun videos. So I make fun videos to kind of like, tell people how it works, and I make them entertaining. And I try to make things that are curiosities so people will spend some time around them. I'm not a professional marketer, but this is what I'm doing. That is working for me. It doesn't cost much and it's growing. Oh, and by the way, on the Google Ads, I'm spending $5 a day right now. And so for $5 a day, I'm getting usually between 10 and 25 people signing up every day, which means if I monetize that correctly, that will become $10 to $25 a month for $5 a day that I'm getting. So every day I'm adding $10 to $25 to the value of the newsletter per month.
And how do you keep
spending
them
only $5?
How do you keep them? How do you keep them sticky? Like, how do you keep a net positive in terms of subscribers and open rate and such?
You write people. You give people things they want to read so that they open it. Mm-hmm. You write things that people want to see or hear about. Mm-hmm. And I think that is it. Oh, there's no end thing. Well, that's it.
Nope, there's not. Sorry about that.
There is no ending thank you thank you slide, but thank you everyone for being here. If you do have questions, now is a great time to ask those questions. Also, so while people are asking those questions, if they do have them, I want to talk a little bit about Arts Academy. So Arts Academy is our community in school, and the goal of Arts Academy is to help people who are into the arts. I want everybody to be artist entrepreneurs. I don't think enough artists understand about being entrepreneurs, and I also think that everybody should use modern techniques and technology to help blow up their art and grow. If you're an artist, you are a business, so you have to like learn how to do stuff. And by the way, I hate business. Business sucks. It stinks. The only reason that I'm learning about it is because I'm going to grow my brands big enough so that I can hire somebody awesome to run it. So that's my goal. So that's why I'm in the trenches right now, because I need to get big enough so that I can pay somebody $200,000 a year to run my tech and media company. And so that's why I'm focused on growing and learning. And so if you have questions, you can email me. We will do episodes about them. Actually, somebody today sent an email and they wanted to know how to make an ebook, but that's just because they haven't watched our recent videos, in which we talked about how to make an ebook. So I guess I'll send them those videos. But if you have questions, hi, Rachel.
Sorry, my phone went off.
If you have a question, just write us, let us know. We'd love to answer it. We'll make a whole episode about it. I like to research things if they're interesting and figure them out, because that's what I do. And were there any questions or no?
We just had those questions from before that we definitely answered. No,
awesome.
No.
Great. Yeah. Okay, then everybody, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see ya later.
Thanks, everyone. Check us out. Bye. Love you.